1 and 2 leads a day. So that's your focus, minimum 1 good lead every day. Now, that's the first part. So now you have your roadmap. You need 8 leads per week to get 1 appointment. That means 1 to 2 leads a day. That's your 17 listings, that's your 17 closings. That's the journey, that's the roadmap. And now it will be very easy, Janice, for you to troubleshoot. Am I on track, am I off track? And if you're off track, it's only because of 3 things. One of 3 things. Either you're not getting enough leads, or you're not going enough appointments, or you're not converting enough appointments into listings. Those are the only 3 potential problems that you're going to face.
Okay.
Usually the lead generation is the biggest one. That's usually where most agents get stuck. Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
So now you need to set up a plan. How do I get my 1 to 2 leads every day? What do I have to focus on first, second, third together? Because that's the most important thing. Because without leads, the rest doesn't matter.
That's
You know what I mean? If you don't have leads, doesn't matter how beautiful your listing appointment is, how good your follow-up is. If you don't have anybody, it just doesn't matter. So you start with that. You're going to set up lead funnels, lead generation funnels. And my suggestion is set up only 3 or 4. You don't need a whole bunch. You don't need to spread yourself too thin, learn a whole bunch of systems, spend a lot of money. No need to. Because if you only work what I call the core systems, and you work them diligently, and you work them daily, with some systems that support it, you're fine. That's 17 listings, easy breezy, okay? So where do you start? Start with what I call HPL. That should be your number 1 focus, high probability leads. Now what I mean by high probability of finding them, they're much easier to find than your average lead. High probability to approach them, contact them, follow up with them, and convert them. So you have a better probability to turn them into listings and clients and commissions and then potentially referrals, okay? So you want to start with somebody who's already doing something. That's why I'm so adamant about teaching you guys work new expireds and old expireds. Because if you take an average lead, let's say you do farming, for example, or you do online advertising, you know, Facebook or whatever. It's not that it's not going to get you leads, it's going to get you leads, but the problem is they're low probability because usually between the time they decide to sell and the time they actually put the house on the market, there's a window. And that window can be anywhere from 6 months to 12 months to 24 months, sometimes years. And in that window, you must follow up diligently, keep in touch diligently, because you're never the only agent who is in touch with them. So there's a very good chance they're going to interview a bunch of agents, think about it, then first time on the market, the price is kind of out of whack, they're unrealistic, especially in a hot market like we have right now. So it's not that it doesn't work, but the approach is laborious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With high probabilities, like with expireds, they're already in the process. They're already doing it. They already know what price the property didn't sell for. So many times they're more realistic. But you don't have to spend weeks and months of following up and keeping in touch to convert them. Sometimes, but very often, they're ready now. If you just check your MLS, you'll notice that the gap between the time they expired and the gap they go on the market, they go either right away or there's a small window. And it's in that window where you can convert them. Yeah? Is that been, okay, good. So focus on high probability leads. So the funnels I want you to set up is new and old expireds. Work them daily. Right now, market is pretty hot. There may not be that many new expireds. That's okay, just go back. Work old expireds. Here is why working old expireds is a good idea and it's a good source of solid leads. Just because a property didn't sell doesn't mean their plans changed. In other words, if the agent didn't get the job done, usually because they overpriced the property, that doesn't mean the seller suddenly doesn't want to sell. Very often, they still have the hopes, they still have the problem, they still have the pain, they still have the dream to live somewhere else. They just don't know what to do right now. Because once the property expires, they get bombarded by a bunch of agents. They're confused, they're angry, they're frustrated, they're confused, they're disappointed, all these emotions, so they just throw their hands in the air and go, you know what, fuck it, we're just not going to do anything. We're going to stay where we are. And at the moment, it may even feel real to them. But as the time goes by, they see other properties going up for sale. You notice, like the neighborhoods, you know, other properties are selling. Their neighbors are selling, or their friends, somebody's moving. And they keep thinking about it. Now you come in, Janice. You approach them in a very soft, high-status, counselor-like approach, not a needy, desperate salesman. They suddenly listen. They pay attention. And if you build enough trust with them, very often you can convert them without as much competition and without struggle. Because there are very, very few agents who diligently and constantly work old expireds. So the market for you is wide open. Make sense?
How old? How old? Yes, Borino. How old when you mean old expireds? How far back?
They should be in their 50s and 60s. No, I'm kidding.
I just got that. I'm sorry, I'm slow.
That's all right. I thought it was pretty funny. Go back 3 months, 6 months, a year, sometimes even 2 years. Won't hurt.
Okay.
And the trick to work in the old expireds, Janice, is just have a conversation with them. Without any agenda, without being desperate, without being needy, just talk to them. Find out things like, well, what was the original plan? Where did you guys want to go? Have you picked the house yet? Did you have a house in mind? Is that still available? What is the main reason you wanted to sell? What's inspiring you? What's exciting you? And then you ask them, well, if somebody walks in tomorrow, they offer you a good price, something that would work for you guys, would you at least consider it? Would you think about it? That's the key question. You're not making false promises that you have a buyer. You're not blowing smoke up their butt saying, oh, we could definitely sell your house and you're going to pocket all kinds of money. Yeah, you tell them market is good. There are a lot of buyers. We work with plenty. We've sold 5 homes in the neighborhood in the last 30 days, so there's definitely demand for it. Would you like to know more? Would it be interesting to you for you to find out how much cash you would put in your pocket? How long would it take to sell? Would that be something you'd consider? You know, just a nice, soft, gentle conversation. But here's the catch. Even if they say no, doesn't mean they're not a potential lead. They may say no. First of all, they don't know you. They have no reason to trust you yet. So tread softly even if they say no at the beginning, because they might. Tell them, well, would it be okay if I kept in touch, send you a market update, let you know what's going on in the neighborhood? Who knows? Maybe down the road you guys decide to do something down the road. Never know. Won't hurt. Many times they will be open to that possibility. And if they say anything other than absolutely not, you may have a good potential lead that will require some follow-up. Now, what happens during the follow-up?
Okay.
You build trust. You build connection with them. So suddenly they're familiar with you. They recognize your face, your name. They know that they can call you if they have a question. They can call you and say, hey, Janice, there's a new house around the street on Oak Street. How much are they asking for? Or even better, you call them with that information. You know what I mean? You pick up the phone and now you have a reason to call. Now you're not just an obnoxious real estate agent who's desperate for a listing. You're somebody cool and helpful who is there to provide something they want to know. Because trust me, even if they don't want to sell right away, everybody's curious what their neighbors are asking. You know, so if there's a new sale, new pending, new listing, or a big price reduction, or any of that that would interest them, always a good idea to pick up the phone and give them a call with that info. Yeah?
Oh.
Because that will start positioning you as their advisor. And then down the road, maybe in a few weeks, maybe a couple months, you never know. You may lock them in as a listing. Now, if you follow up a few times and you absolutely feel like they're just not going anywhere, there's not enough pain, there's not enough drive, the emotion is not there, it's okay to drop them. But I would not do it after the initial contact. I would give them a little time, follow up a little, just to kind of soften the relationship, ease the tension and the distrust that's initially there, and melt the ice. And then you'll be surprised how many will say, hey, Janice, you want to come on down? Let's talk. We are thinking about putting the house back on the market. Because even in a hot market, like here in the DC area, we have a super hot market right now, properties are moving, we still have about 30-40% of the inventory doesn't sell the first time around. Even in a hot seller's market where there are a lot of buyers for it. So you know that there's still an inventory of properties that will not sell, it's worth to go after. That's why the old expireds are a fantastic source of good leads and listings. Yeah? Make sense?
Yeah.
And the approach is pretty much the same. Use the Expired Plus approach. Use your package, go talk to them if you can, call them if you can, put them on a follow-up if you can, and just keep in touch. Yeah? That's how you do it.
Okay.
So that's your first funnel. New and old expired. That's something you work daily. Because I'll show you a little trick. Let's say you have only 2 good conversations every day. Can you do that? Just two face-to-face preferably, because that's where the most trust. You know how you meet somebody in person is different than when you just talk to them on the phone?
Yes.
Or over email. It's a different vibe. So imagine you meet 2 people in person, any type of a lead, any type of a seller, somebody who's thinking about selling. And you chat with them, 5, 10, 15-minute conversation. You do 2 of those a day. And you say you work 5 days a week. So you have 10 of those conversations a week. Okay? So that means 40 per month, right? On average 4 weeks, 5 per week. So 40 a month. So in the next 6 months, you're going to have 240 of those conversations. Okay? 240. Now, some of them will be interested, some will not. Some will be nice people where you want to work with them, some total assholes you don't want to touch. Some will be very motivated, some not at all. So let's be conservative. What percentage do you think out of those conversations with these potential leads, you have 240 in 6 months, how many of those do you think you can convert into listings? And be very conservative, be realistic.
You said within the next 6 months?
So you have 240 potential conversations. Would you say you convert 10%? Is that possible?
Can I say
5%?
30%?
All right. Well, I mean, be conservative. Because here's the thing. Even if you just convert 10%, that's still 24 listings in the next 6 months.
Okay.
Now, how much money would you make if you had 24 listings in 6 months? Average commission is $7,000, so that's going to be about $150,000. If you keep doing it, that's $300,000 in the next 12 months. Would that be a good lifestyle?
That would be an awesome lifestyle. Awesome lifestyle.
Now, tell me, if I'm off somewhere, can you have 2 conversations a day? Is that possible?
Oh, yes, easily.
Can you have 10 a week?
I believe I can have 10 a week.
Can you convert 10% of those into listings, or am I off?
No, I don't think
No.
you're off, Serena. I just
So-
have to do it. I can do that.
It's all about doing it consistently. That's really the only secret. Now, yes, you need to use the right language, practice a little, make sure you come across as confident and connected and honest, but you are. You have plenty of experience communicating with people already. So this is not new to you. It's just a matter of setting it up, something you do daily with the right system and the right support. Totally doable. Now, $300,000 is a pretty good lifestyle if you ask me. That's not bad.
Oh, yes.
That gives you a lot of freedom. Am I right?